Welcome to this Let's Play of Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. I am, of course, Doom Guy OnlyFans. That's right, Doom Guy OnlyFans. Consume my flesh at OnlyFans. Today we are going to be playing as the UN Peacekeeping Forces, led by Commissioner Pravin Lal. As discussed in the previous video, these guys are a bunch of all-rounder, boring dorks. And so am I. So that's why I want to play as them. And it should be a lot of fun. We're going to be on librarian difficulty, so hopefully I won't embarrass myself too much. And let's have Lal here introduce himself.
As the Americans learned so painfully in Earth's final century, free flow of information is the only safeguard against tyranny. The once chained people whose leaders at last lose their grip on information flow will soon burst with freedom and vitality. But the free nation, gradually constricting its grip on public discourse, has begun its rapid slide into despotism. Beware of he who would deny you access to information, for in his heart he dreams himself your master. Commissioner Pravin Lal, UN Declaration of Rights.
And that's just a little taste of what's to come in the game, and what also is something that really recommends the game, if you ask me. The writing, the voice acting, the general detail, and the feeling of a lived-in world is really huge, and more of those quotes will be coming. In fact, that's going to basically be the whole point of this damn Let's Play, is running through those very cool quotes. So, we now have text that says, Lal, a new era of struggle and opportunity awaits you. The UN Starship Unity has arrived in the Alpha Centauri system after a 40-year voyage. All contact with Earth has been lost. After Captain Garland's assassination by an unknown assailant, the crew mutinied and split into factions. In the ensuing conflict, some seized control of the Unity's colony pods. You now shape the destiny of your Peacekeeper faction, which is just made Planetfall. Alright, our first base is called UN Headquarters, which is appropriately lame. As a quick little starter here, you may be saying to yourself, hey, this really looks like shit. And you are not wrong. This game is 21 years old, and it is nearly incomprehensible to the modern human eye. That being said, hopefully all of the fun stuff that we just talked about with the text and the quotes and the voice acting and hey, will make it worthwhile for you to burn out the back of your retinas by looking at this screen. Speaking of which, this screen here has a little bit of info worth knowing. This little cookie motherfucker looking here is a Unity pod. When you walk on top of it, you get a little goodie most of the time. Sometimes you get negative outcomes that can be quite catastrophic, but it's worth it to at least chance it because the upsides are so high. This disgusting red looking shit is the xenofungus. It is planet's infrastructure. It's a part of planet. And if your units step on it, then you trigger a chance for mind worms to show up. And as discussed briefly in the last video, mind worms are awful, giant, roiling boils of worms that attack you psychically. And after you're done literally dying of fear, they eat your brains. So always a good idea to try to miss them. Here we have our little scout unit. It's the most basic piece of shit military unit we can make right now. And then also we've started off blessedly with a settler. In this game, settlers are called colony pods, and they look like a shitty bullet train knockoff thing. But whatever, we're not here for the graphics, remember? We're here for the writing. The writing!
Turn complete.
As also discussed last video, we're playing with the standard rule set, which means we do not have directed research. That means we cannot go through the tech tree in the way that we would choose, knowing ahead of time which techs lead to what. All we can do is tell our researchers to generally focus in 4 areas: explore, discover, build, conquer. And for right now, I'm going to have them do only explore so we can get some very important early units. But yeah, this will be the very roulette-ish way of going about this, because Lord knows what's going to happen if we end up starting next to another faction and then Just hoping against hope that some of these Conquer techs will come through when we need them.
Pod recovered.
Okay, so our first pod from the Unity is a resupply pod, which means we get manufacturing supplies worth 50 energy credits. Credits are the currency in this game. We currently have 14. That'll jack it up to 64. And credits are a good thing to have.
Turn complete.
Real quick on the production side of things, each of these cities has the classic civilization fat cross that it can work, and each of these tiles has 3 different kinds of yields. The green thing is a nutrient, it is food. The diamond looking thing is for production, it's minerals, and it's applied toward production. And this little guy right here who looks like he belongs in a Danny Boyle movie about the sun is the an energy yield for this tile, which goes to our credits per turn. So this is our base tile, which classically has the extra output compared to everything else, but we'll be using terraformers to improve this crap as the game goes on.
Production complete.
We made our first production here, which is a crappy scout patrol, which I am going to allow to wander in this direction. Fun thing in this game is you can see here when this number is empty, when it has no color background in the square there, or the rectangle, that means that it's undefended. And if I were to get wiped out this early on, like say somebody just comes in out of nowhere and jumps in my base, that's game over and I'm dead, which is kind of fun actually. I like that part of it. But we'll be making another scout patrol in 5 turns, which we will then use for defense.
Turn complete. Nutrient resources.
Yes, now we have some decent outcomes over here. Here we have tile bonuses. I just walked over a Unity pod, and what it did was it spawned a nutrient bonus resource here on this tile. It's a diseased Bart Simpson looking thing, and it just means that it will produce way more nutrients per turn than the average tile that doesn't have a bonus resource. This Mr. Freeze looking motherfucker is for minerals. That is a mineral resource bonus on that tile. So what the next city I settle right here with this guy has got to be over here somewhere, because man, these are some good tiles.
Turn complete. Nutrient resources.
This Unity pod has given us sufficient materials to finish the scout patrol we were building at headquarters. Fucking sweet. The thing we were going to make in 5 turns anyway. Whatever. Fine.
Turn complete. Production complete.
Okay, and this is the game's little way of giving us an attaboy, which is like this ugly 21 years ago version of like a CG cutscene, I guess, or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's celebrating our first new base since Planetfall. Huzzah! UN Information Agency, founded in 2106.
Turn complete.
Got ourselves another nutrient bonus here, which means might be a good idea to expand in this direction next. We're going to find out. Lord willing, we're not super close to another faction, but I'm starting to suspect we might have somebody right in this direction here.
Planet's atmosphere, though a gasping death to humans and most animals, is paradise for earth plants. The high nitrate content of the soil and the rich yellow sunlight bring an abundant harvest wherever adjustments can be made for the unusual soil conditions. Lady Deidre Sky, The Comparative Biology of Planet.
Okay, there's our first tech. We have ourselves some Centauri Ecology now. It allows something called the weather paradigm, which we'll talk about in a second, but it also, most importantly, allows terraforming with terraformer units, and I'm going to immediately start building them motherfuckers. It also increases nutrient production in fungus squares. Not that we really care, because those fungus squares are not going to be workable for us for a while. Let's get to the flavor text. Finding adequate sources of nutrients, energy, and minerals is the most immediate problem facing the colonists after planetfall. An understanding of the basics of Centauri ecology provides the new arrivals with the tools they need to begin shaping the world around them, how plants grow, what geological structures exist, and how natural energy sources may be exploited on planet. We're going to stick with the Explore tree for now, just for the hell of it, and hopefully we pick up again some more text that'll help us move a little quicker. Ooh, and another attaboy. Here we go. Ooh, you got yourself a tag. Isn't that nice? Here's a weird Earth Mother thing, even though we're not on Earth anymore.
Production complete.
Cannot be overstated how my decision to jump on the old creep here, the xenofungus, has paid off, at least in the short term. Real fun thing is when you have nobody at your bases and you jump on here and the mindworms come and they will wipe out your fucking bases. So that is a possibility. Just FYI. Very dangerous what I did. I'm very brave.
Turn complete.
Here you can see that the elevation in this game matters, not just visually, but also if you check the tiles, you can actually see the elevation down here. And it says here that it's 1822. That matters for very boring reasons that I won't get into, but it helps for terraforming, and generally speaking, the higher your tiles, the better your energy output if you put a solar collector on them, which we will be doing. And we'll be making use of this here sunny mesa, which is a geological feature of planet, and also the not at all superior alternative to sunny Chiba.
Turn complete.
Got me a good feeling that we're gonna get us a mindworm out of here.
Turn complete. Turn complete. Datapod recovered.
Whew, damn. Okay, good. So the Unity pod that we got is a data pod, and it is going to give us a tech once we get it hooked up to the data links, which will happen presently.
Resources exist to be consumed, and consumed they will be. If not by this generation, then by some future. By what right does this forgotten future seek to deny us our birthright? None, I say. Let us take what is ours, chew and eat our fill. CEO Nwabude K. Morgan, The Ethics of Greed.
Ah, yes, that gent you just heard is CEO Nwabude K. Morgan of the Morganites. He is great. Well, actually, he's an asshole. He's a plundering asshole. He really likes to just destroy everything around him on planet and for exploitation of its resources, but he's very charming while he does it. We have now researched industrial base. We now can build the merchant exchange, which, like the weather paradigm that we unlocked a second ago, is a secret project. Secret projects in this game are the same thing, essentially, as wonders from civilization, which means they take a lot of production to make, a lot of dedication from your bases to pump out, at least until in the later game. Also, it gives us some extra defense here with synth metal armor. It's the level 2 armor, which is one step up, obviously, from level 1. So I guess if somebody starts coming to attack us, we have something to defend ourselves with. I prefer weapons, but we'll see what happens. Flavor Tech says, the first colonies lack any kind of factories or heavy industry, so the creation of an industrial base becomes a high priority for economic growth. This industrial base emphasizes small-scale manufacturing with primitive assembly lines and simple currency instruments.
Pod recovered.
Ah, here we go. Our first Mindworms generation. We got the Unity pod. It is a supply pod with a Unity Rover in it. Unity Rovers are little dune buggies of death. And I will hopefully be able to use this one to attack the Mindworm. In this game, there is an advantage for anybody who is on the attack, generally speaking. If you have parity in terms of your strength or your defense or whatever, the unit attacking gets a buff that the unit defending does not get. So it's always good to be on the attack. Here we have our odds, 24-7. I better goddamn well win. Let us see what happens. Nyah, nyah.
Turn complete. Turn complete.
Once a man has changed the relationship between himself and his environment, he cannot return to the blissful ignorance he left. Motion of necessity involves a change in perspective. Commissioner Pravin Lal, A Social History of Planet.
Okay, we're cooking now with Doctrine Mobility, the next tech that we have discovered, because we now can make these speeders instead of just discovering them in the pods that we got from the supply pod. Now we can make them ourselves, and if we are lucky enough to switch to the combat tech branch and get lasers relatively quickly, then we can put lasers on our speeders, because there is a unit workshop in this game, and oh, doesn't that just spark joy. Flavor Tech says, the early colonists quickly learned the importance of reconnaissance and self-defense in this most alien of environments. Doctrine Mobility formalizes these cornerstones of military might, representing the first attempts at an organized defense policy on planet.
Turn complete. Turn complete. Turn complete. Production complete.
Hoo boy! Alright, more mind worms, and our scout patrol, as mentioned earlier, sucks. So let's see what happens. Ooh, odds are 3-2. Not good. Yeesh. Alright, so now he's achieved discipline status. In this game, they have different levels of experience. The more experienced, obviously, your unit, the more likely it is they're going to win a battle, especially against a unit with parity. So the very lowest level of experience is green. The next level up is disciplined. By virtue of having killed that mind worm, we're now up to discipline status, and isn't that so nice? We're going to start building some recycling tanks here, because the tech quote that goes with recycling tanks is excellent. Also, recycling tanks jack up your base's central tile output by 1 apiece, which is a very good early game building.
Turn complete.
Welly, 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 look who we have here. Sister Miriam of the Believers is on Channel 4. Shall I put her through? Yes, switch to view main screen. This right here is her diplomatic status toward me. Currently she is cooperative. Well met, Brother Lal. I am now called Sister Miriam and act as the voice of the Believers, whose intent is to embrace the truth of the good Lord's scripture. I see you and your minions have flourished on this unforgiving world. Brother Lal, I know I have been accused of Bible-thumping extremism, but I think you will find that I'm a woman of reason. Let us exchange knowledge on a quid pro quo basis. I will share my files on social psych. You must, in return, fully disclose your data on Doctrine Mobility. Really quick on this nomenclature here. This B1 means that it is in the build family of techs. Remember, there's those 4 techs: discover, conquer, build, explore. And the 1 means it's the most basic version of it. And I have the most basic version of Explore Tech, E1. So she wants to trade like for like. That being said, Doctrine Mobility, as you may recall, allows us to build dune buggies of death, and I don't want to give her that just yet. My alternative is I could give her Centauri Ecology, which would give her the ability to build formers, which also isn't particularly great, but I do want that social psych tech, and I will be killing her, so let's see if she'll take it instead.
If you can discover a better way of life than office holding for your future rulers, a well-governed city becomes a possibility. For only in such a state will those rule who are truly rich, not in gold, but in the wealth that makes happiness, a good and wise life. Plato, the Republic, data links.
So what's fun about this game is the data links not only contain flavor text and voice acting from each of the faction leaders, different treatises and speeches and all that other stuff from in-game, apocrypha and fictional stuff, but also you have Plato. It's fun. It's grounding. Flavor text says, the overcrowding aboard the Unity following the premature wake-up caused terrible conditions for the crew, but also generated valuable data concerning humans under extreme environmental stresses. Analysis of this data provides the first comprehensive mathematical insights into the social psychology of humans. She's now feeling magnanimous toward me. Your information on Doctrine Mobility intrigues me. Are you willing to exchange it for a copy of my world map? Saying this as politely as possible, get fucked. Brother Lau, I am concerned that you appear to be withholding scientific data in violation of the UN Charter for this mission. Please release your files on biogenetics to me at once. They try to get a little cute here with stuff like that by trying to work my guilt complex, and while that would normally work in real life, this is video games. Ain't gonna work on me. Perhaps you should ask the UN to invoke sanctions. Ha ha ha. I've been praying for you lately, Brother Lau. The Lord wishes us to live side by side as brothers and sisters. We must sign a treaty of friendship and worship together in peace. Treaty of friendship is a very basic-ass diplomatic status that gives a little bit of an economic boost to each of us. But I intend to wipe the believers off the planet, so I will not be entering into any sort of positive diplomatic status. No, your fanaticism makes me shiver, Miriam. Have you any further business? Oh, we do not.
Bot recovered. Turn complete. Datapod recovered.
Ooh, we got ourselves another tech. Let's see what we got.
The righteous need not cower before the drumbeat of human progress. Though the song of yesterday fades into the challenge of tomorrow, God still watches and judges us. Evil lurks in the data links as it lurked in the streets of yesteryear. But it was never the streets that were evil. Sister Miriam Godwinson, The Blessed Struggle.
Now, I know I've made it obvious by this point that I have a real obsession with the Believer faction, the fact that I want to punch it in the nose, but it's shit like this, man. Come on. Evil lurks in the data links as it lurked in the streets of yesteryear, but it was never the streets that were evil. I mean, that's gotta be racist, right? That feels very racist, to me. Anyway, information networks is the tech. We can now build some basic science buildings, which is fun. Flavor text says, survival equipment from the Unity contained a variety of computers purpose-built for the needs of a frontier society. However, they must first be connected into information networks before scientists can utilize their power.
Datapod recovered.
Another tech.
Scientific theories are judged by the coherence they lend to our natural experience and the simplicity with which they do so. The grand principle of the heavens balances on the razor's edge of truth. Commissioner Pravin Lal, A History of Science.
We now have applied physics, and I just simply cannot overstate how good this is. We now have lasers. It is the second level of firepower over basic firepower, and I'm pretty sure Miriam doesn't have it, and I'm pretty sure she's pretty close by, which means we are in fact going to be affixing lasers to our dune buggies of death, and we are going to roll into her base, and we are going to roll them right the F over. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Flavor text says, the colonists must create new tools from the wreckage of the Unity to survive and expand. Early inquiries into applied physics emphasize this adaptation of existing technology for the new environment.
Turn complete. Terraform complete. Turn complete.
Okay, we can see here that this white checked pattern is the limits of my base borders, and it's met by this orange check pattern, which means that the believer base is right in here, and she is in fact fairly close by. One of the reasons why I can't move any of these tiles here is because in this game it follows the old ass thing of 4X games where they used to give units a zone of control, so I can't move anywhere from this enemy unit. Not quite an enemy unit, but a non-friendly unit controls all the spaces around it, so I have to move off and go elsewhere. Anyway, it's a very archaic concept and it sucks.
Terraform complete.
Terraforming boosted the nutrients on this tile, and it's a pretty good tile because it's a river tile. Gives us a little extra energy. Got some production there, and in a million years we'll have a new settler to build somewhere close to the Believers.
Bot recovered.
25 credits. I want an attack.
Turn complete.
And no, 25 credits cannot buy many techs.
Turn complete. Turn complete.
Miriam's back on the line. Let's see what she has to say. Brother Lau the Humane, it is ever a pleasure to match wits with you. She is solicitous. I, Sister Miriam of the Believers, am at your service. Your forces have been spotted suspiciously close to the Lord's gift. Do not further test my patience. Doesn't like the fact that I'm in her territory. I'm inclined to tell her to kick rocks, although I could probably use this Unity rover, take it back here, and once we research lasers, which reminds me, should set our research goals. And more of this explore crap. Time to conquer. Oh wait, we already have the laser though, so let's stick with conquer anyway, in case we need further techs to take her out. I don't like this one bit.
Terraform complete. Turn resources.
It is every citizen's final duty to go into the tanks and become one with all the people. Chairman Shen Jiyang, Ethics for Tomorrow.
And it is well understood that people with the handsomest opinions believe that is a top 3, perhaps top 2, top 1 quote in this game. Recycling tanks, as explained by Chairman Shen Jiyang of the Hive. And they don't recycle what you think they do. Great stuff. Great stuff. Get a little attaboy for building our first base thing, whatever. Okay, now we gotta do the boring thing of doing the unit workshop. This is a thing that pops up in Civ games from time to time, and basically everybody hates it, but also it is kind of interesting. Like, you have to give it that, I guess. It allows you to build from a basic unit type, where they're infantry, to the speeders that we unlocked. We can now have our lasers attached to our speeders. I'm going to take the shielding off because I'm worried about offense and offense only, and I want to make these things cheap to produce and get the hell out. So let's go ahead and apply it. That's good. And then what we're going to do here is make laser squads to protect our base. A little bit of shielding, a little bit of laser, and yeah, we'll start building them one of these days. I don't know. Right now I'm worried about getting these guys out of here.
Bot recovered. Turn complete.
He held his arm too stiffly, and so was thrown back repeatedly, until at last I seized his forearm and snapped it back against itself. His training suffered while the arm healed, of course, but I felt this was a lesson he must learn early, and well. Spartan Kell, honing the key.
Okay, we have now researched Doctrine Flexibility, which gives us foils, which are sea units. We don't have any coastal bases yet, but we're going to want to be exploring the sea soon enough, and this lets us do that. Flavor text says, many radical young military officers felt that Doctrine Mobility, the previous exploration tech that we got, did not go far enough in the development of fast attacks and quick reconnaissance because mobility only takes land forces into account. These leaders worked to create the first navies on planet based on Doctrine Flexibility, coordination and cooperation between forces made possible by control of the sea. By the way, in this last little battle here, this would appear to be mind worms controlled by Miriam, although maybe they're just regular mind worms. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, speeders have the ability to withdraw if it looks like they're going to get their ass kicked, and he clearly was going to get his ass kicked with his little life bar here. So, to the base. In this game, you have to go to your base to heal, which is not the most convenient thing in the world, but also
Turn complete.
decent balancing, I suppose. Well, shit.
Indigenous life forms.
Double shit.
Turn complete. Terraform complete.
Okay, we got ourselves an alien artifact here from that Unity pod that I just walked on. Alien artifacts are kind of interesting because they can do a bunch of things at your base. The thing that you should be doing is building a network node, that basic science building, and then any city that has built a network node, you can hook up an alien artifact to, and you'll get a free tech out of it. So we're going to go ahead and send it back to wait for that. Of course, in the meantime, we're going to be building lots of laser speeders to kick the crap out of the believers.
Turn complete. Turn complete. Terraform complete. Turn complete.
If I was really smart, I would try to escort this alien artifact all the way back to the base, because the fact of the matter is once it hits this creep, it's going to risk a chance of the mind worms coming to kick its ass, which it probably will, but who knows.
Turn complete. Turn complete. Production complete.
Okay, so we built our first little laser recon rover, and there's a little bit of a production penalty for the first time you build a new powerful type of unit. That's a prototype. After you prototype it, all your other bases can build it all of your bases can build it at the normal price, the non-premium prototype price. So now that we have built those, we're going to start mass producing them and hopefully overwhelming the Lord's Gift and other bases. Let's just see what happens. Yeah. Let me build our first prototype and we should be very proud.
Terraform complete. Pod recovered.
Our unit has fallen through a dimensional gate. Oh, good. Okay. That can send you almost literally anywhere else on the map, I think. And normally that's bad news, but it just sent me to Miriam's base, which is fine. Like the other end of the island, basically. Oh no.
Turn complete. Turn complete. Production complete.
Ooh, we found ourselves a mysterious monolith. Monoliths are weird artifacts left by some other civilization, maybe, that was previously on planet. Anyway, they are very Stanley Kubrick-esque, and every time you investigate with a military unit, it will jack up your... well, the first time you investigate with a military unit, it will boost up your experience by 1 level, and then after that, every time you investigate it with a military unit, it will heal you if you are damaged. So very useful to have. Also, they're good to have within your fat cross on one of your bases to work, because it's a productive tile. It's like 2 across the board. 2 nutrients, 2 minerals, 2 energy. But too good to leave alone.
Terraform complete. Turn complete. Turn complete.
Sister Miriam back on the line, probably to yell at me for being in her territory. Hello again, Brother Lau. Your loyal followers remain a force to be reckoned with. Greetings from Sister Miriam of the Believers. She is now seething. By the way, her might down here says that she is pathetic. My might is unsurpassed, which means I can probably kick her butt. Your troop buildup near New Jerusalem has not gone unnoticed. Withdraw your forces immediately, or I shall annihilate them.
Production complete.
La-di-da.
Turn complete.
The University, which is another faction, has researched the secrets of the human brain. That's a very early good tech to get, which then you get another tech on top of it. The fact that the University is very good at researching means they usually get that anyway, but also it's the rich get richer because they get this tech and also a free tech, and they're good at getting techs, and anyway, it's not good.
Terraform complete.
And look what have we here. This little blue unit should be a hive unit, which means we should be hearing from Chairman Shenji Yang in the very near future. And wouldn't that be nice? It won't be. He's a big dick.
Turn complete. Production complete. Terraform complete. Turn complete.
I'm going to prototype a laser squad at this base so that in case things get really hairy, we can have at least a halfway decent defensive unit there. Oh, never mind, I'm not going to do that because it's a new base and it's going to take forever. I'm going to make a former. And I'm going to tell it to stop focusing on, well, 7 turns to growth. That's fine. We'll get a production tile next. And actually, I think I'm going to leave it here because this is a pretty decent place. Yang is going to be contacting us in the next video, and then also we're probably going to start having to kick the crap out of the Believers. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, that's just how the game is. I have no control over this. You have to beat up the Believers. It's just how it is. Also, they settled really close to my base, as evidenced by the fact their border got pushed out right here, which means I think I'm kind of mad at them right now. So until next time, don't come back, and do yourself a favor, don't come back.